has grown. And I'll just give you some stats as we get this thing rolling here. Because of that individual wisdom who joined us just a little over 60 days ago, it has now expanded into, ready for this? In June alone, Jim, over 60 countries we're now in. Over 400 rank advancements happened in June, and there are now over 1,200 new people that joined our team in the month of June in both Africa and in France and all over the world, thanks to the most incredible team that these guys represent. And we're just so excited that you get a chance to say hello to them. David DiArcangelo, thank you for hopping on and helping to arrange this. I know you've been watching the growth. You've been excited to be able to help us and fan the flames, so to speak, and help us build around the world. David, maybe you can talk just a little bit about Jim and give us some idea of that relationship and why it's so special with the partnership between NuCalm and xosialX.
Yeah, thank you, Adam, and hello, everybody. It's Jim. Jim and I. Oops, there's a little feedback.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll mute him out.
Okay.
Oops.
You're muted, David.
Dave, somehow we muted you out.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, Jim Poole and NuCalm. Ben, now Jim, going on. We're in the third year. It's just been a compelling proposition. I look for something significant backed by either science or research. I don't waste my time because that's time better spent somewhere else. And when I met Jim and when he told me, look, we have patents, and I said, what? You have two patents. The only patent ever issued, so for patented neuroscience to prove that resets the nervous system for deeper sleep, faster recovery, sharper thinking, unshakable composure, is absolutely amazing. We have it at xosialX with the NuCalm relationship, and now we have the exclusive for the entire network marketing and sales business throughout the world. And I think the people in Africa and France and elsewhere on this call appreciate that. So, Jim, I have a pleasure dealing with you. You're one of the smartest men I've ever dealt with. And I appreciate the opportunity and the journey and be able to introduce you to xosialX and this team right here. So back to you, Adam.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. And I want to introduce my co-host of this amazing Zoom event, and that is Dr. Bright Wiredu. Dr. Bright is a surgeon and somebody that saw this early on. My friend Wisdom shared it with him, and we're so glad he picked up the torch and started running with it. And from that, you've got Dr. Kwaku, and you've got Noel in France, and so many other incredible leaders that have just joined this team and are moving up the ranks. It's just a pleasure working with this group. Dr. Bright, I know you've got some questions for Jim, and I'm going to let you take it away, my friend. Oh, you're muted, my friend.
Jim, thank you so much for joining us. And Adam, thank you too for all you've done from day one. You've given us support. We appreciate you so much. And I want to recognize my leaders, Dr. KOA, Noel. Noel is awesome. We have a wonderful team. So many of them are here. We are grateful for this. So, Jim, my first question is, can you tell us a bit about your story? I mean, how did NuCalm come about? What was the ideation process? What inspired you and your team to look at this? Because I read it was the development started in 1990, and I think you were thinking so ahead of the time, deep into the future. What inspired this?
Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here with everybody. See all these beautiful faces. I can feel your positive energy. I can see it in your eyes. There's a lot of love here, and it's nice to see. Before we get started, I just want to let you know, I am an honorary Musungu Maasai warrior.
Wow.
It's true.
Wow. Awesome.
Nelson Mandela in the Mara, after my first trip to Africa, where they had me sacrifice a goat for dinner, said, "What's your shirt size, Jim?" He kept texting me, and I didn't want anything from them. I didn't respond, but he pestered me, and he said, "What's your shirt size? What's your shirt size?" And I finally said, "Nelson, I'm 3 Kenyans." That's all I told him. His mother made this for me, and it fit perfectly.
Wow.
So I have been to Africa, specifically Kenya, 3 times: November 2022, March 2023, and October 2025. I love Africa. I love the people of Africa. I love the opportunity in Africa. I don't like the oppression. I don't like the imperialism of other countries taking advantage of the African community, but I've traveled all over the world. And when I landed in Kenya, I didn't know what to expect, but I was overwhelmed every day at just the incredible love, gratitude, vulnerability, energy of the people, and then the connective tissue of the people to the animal kingdom, which we have none of in America. And I was struck by the fact that a lot of the kids and a lot of the people that I met in Kenya aspired to be in America. And I thought to myself, you have it all wrong. You see, in Kenya, there's a natural gravitas. There's a natural gratitude. There's a natural love, humility, and adoration for life. We don't have that here. We aspire to, I don't know what we aspire to in America, but we have it wrong. Now, it wasn't me to tell these beautiful people in Kenya, you have it wrong, don't aspire to be America. I said, hey, come on over all you want. Figure it out for yourself. But in these trips, we've done amazing things for people. But along the way, my wife and I fell in love with Kenya, and we've actually adopted 39 Kenyan kids. We supported each of these children through university. We supported 2 day schools with feminine hygiene products for a year for each. We built a computer library. So I'm very comfortable with being, I know Musungu is like honky in America, but I'm very comfortable being the Musungu Maasai warrior. I'm a little big for a Maasai, and I can't jump that high. But you have my heart and you have my love. So welcome. Asante Sana. Let's do this. Okay, so
Wow.
Bright, your question was a great question. Because when you think of things so fundamentally profound and so pioneering, there must be a genesis to how this all came to be. And it's the genesis of 2 men on parallel paths joining forces. It started with Dr. Blake Holloway, a neuroscientist, a quantum physicist, a naturopath, someone who had a specialty serving people with complex trauma and addiction in a clinic in Texas. Now in America, there are 3 states that house the most veterans. And unfortunately, there's a lot of war in the world, so there's a lot of opportunity for people to come back from war broken. So that was his mission, to help solve complex trauma and addiction. He himself was an abuse victim as a small child, and I know he carried that burden and that shame his entire life, and it probably drove him to figure this out. But the genesis of NuCalm began in 1990 with a quest to figure out how to solve complex trauma and addiction without pharmaceutical intervention. Okay?
Wow.
The rest of the story is so complex, I don't know. I don't know if part of it was ancillary benefit. I don't know if part of it was intentional. But here's what he thought. The human brain oscillates in a frequency range of 41 hertz. This is true for every brain on Earth. Great. The human brain is made of the same parts. We all have an amygdala. We all have a prefrontal cortex. We all have an HPA axis. We all have a frequency range. Great. In that frequency range, there's a specific grouping called theta of 4 hertz to 7 hertz. And at 4 hertz, amazing things happen. Your monkey mind and all the chaos that our mind delivers all the time slows down. It no longer controls the body. At 4 hertz, your sympathetic nervous system is reduced to almost nothing. It has to have some tone or your heart would stop beating. Your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest, is raised and fully active. Your vagus nerve, which is the autonomic nervous system communication pathway, is fully activated. Your cells do their cellular maintenance and clean their toxins. Your mitochondria, which is the energy source of your cells, is restored. And your breath slows down to 1 breath every 10 seconds, and you oxygenate the entire body from your toes to your prefrontal cortex. So theoretically, 4 hertz is the magic frequency for humans for resilience, life, mental health, physical health, hormonal regulation, digestion, sexual energy, and longevity. How can I bring your brain there? Was the hypothesis. Now, to me, Bright, how would you even think of that? I mean, even getting to the hypothesis of the invention is so far removed from how we think and how we've been trained. So he studied quantum physics, and he understood that electrical messaging and chemical messaging are the ways the body communicates. And he spent 19 years of his life trying to figure out a method that he eventually succeeded in inventing. And it's today NuCalm, but the form factor looks a lot different than when we first started. But essentially, overall, the theme here is this. I don't need to present your body and brain with frequency. I don't need to entertain you. I need to modulate the specific brainwave frequency, and I'm going to host your brain at 4 hertz and allow your body to do what it's intended to do, which is homeostasis and healing. Now, there are 2 ways to present the brain with precise signals. One is visual, the other is through the auditory motor cortex. That's what we chose. The auditory motor cortex was the method used. We built a software. The software is complex. The software is patented. The software has a lot of information in it because we're going to try to manage the complexity of the human brain. In this software, it's presenting your brain with precise signals. So you put headphones on, you hear music. Music serves as a carrier. Music serves as a nice to have. Music isn't doing any of the work. Underneath the music is all the information, and we're delivering to your brain precise signals that your brain synchronizes to. And in the last 17 years of commercialization, we've gone through 3 really incredible advancements, and we just keep on innovating. So today, if you had a quantitative EEG or an EEG on somebody's head, and you put NuCalm on, you would see their brainwave frequency follow the mathematics of the matrix that we created with exceptional precision. Now, Bright, 17 years ago, I was running a company for Credit Suisse DLJ Merchant Banking. I was a businessman on Wall Street. I had just run the largest private equity acquisition in the history of the dental industry. Who would have thunk? It was a $300 million company in Central Coast, California. Blake had Asperger's. He had the intellectual genius of 1,000 men, but he had the crutch of Asperger's. He wasn't bringing this invention to the world. He had no operational capacity. He just could create. And in his creation, he understood that he was having an impact on chronic mental illness, complex trauma, and trauma. But as we all know, it's a longitudinal process. And by the time you see if there's a magnitude and a sustainable change, how do you commercialize that? So he had an epiphany. He said, you know what? This invention can solve complex trauma, but can it solve acute stress? And he thought of dentistry. He said, you know, when you ask an adult to lie on their back, open their mouth, and have a stranger put instruments in your mouth, you elicit a fight or flight response because our mouth is our protection and our survival. So he started working with a surgeon in Texas serving high fear dental patients. And this dentist stopped using any benzodiazepines and any medication. And he couldn't believe what he was witnessing. For 30 years, this dentist would have to knock everybody out unconscious and work on them. And now he's working on people who are on NuCalm. So he tells Dr. Holloway, you've got to bring this to the world, but you can't do it. But I know there's a man who made this doctor $300 million. Find that man. That man was me. So somehow this neuroscientist with Asperger's found me. And in March of 2009, I was in Chicago, Illinois on a business trip. And for whatever reason, it makes no sense to me, I took a phone call from a number I didn't recognize, from an area code I didn't recognize. And it was this kind gentleman with a southern accent and a vernacular that was impressive. And that began our journey. We spent 6 months on the phone periodically. I didn't know anything he was talking about, Bright. I thought this guy's either an alien or he's got schizophrenia. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't understand any of this. And I was going to tell him, Dr. Holloway, it's really nice to meet you, but we can't help you. And I told my team before a call in September, I'm going to tell this guy, thank you, goodbye. And I got on the call and we were talking through, and something in my gut said, you can't do it. You got to at least give this guy the personal courtesy of seeing him in person. Meet him. See if he's an alien. See if he's a paranoid schizophrenic. See if he's, a crystal meth addict. I didn't know what he was, but I knew I didn't want to say goodbye. So I got on a plane and I went to San Antonio, Texas. And I just come in from international travel. And I went to a doctor's office and I sat in an operatory and I got in a chair and they put together what is now NuCalm. And for 30 minutes, I levitated. And I remember to this day, I had a really strong itch on my nose and my brain would wander and I'd be like, you have an itch on your nose, itch it. Who cares? And then my brain would wander and then be like, you have an itch on your nose. And at one point, I didn't know if I had arms. I was so out. I was like, I don't even know if I have arms. So how would I even itch my nose? So then someone tapped me on the shoulder. 30 minutes was up. And I was like, wow, what did you just do to me? I feel amazing. I have no idea what you did. So the next day, we spent 10 hours in a boardroom. And he literally went through the entire invention process. And fortunately for humanity, it made logical sense. I may not have understood all the complexity of it, but it made sense. And I said, okay. And at some point that day, Dr. Holloway came up to me and said, Jim, would you mind if I did a few things and you just track my fingers with your eyes? And I said, sure. And he did. And then he looked at me and said, you have traumatic brain injury and you won't be able to tie your shoes by the time you're 50. Now, I was a tough Wall Street banker. I was a wrestler, a martial artist, and I don't know about you, but denial is my best medicine. So I immediately cursed back at him. Who the F are you? And he said, no, seriously, your brain's in trouble. And I stopped. I said, well, I did have 14 hospitalized concussions. I've been knocked unconscious probably 30 other times. I didn't have any treatment. I played football in America. I wrestled for 20 years. And I did martial arts for 20 years. I said, so there's a possibility. And that was the end of the discussion. The next day, Blake drove me to the airport to go home. And he got out of the car and he came over to my side of the sidewalk. And he said, Jim, I'd like to make a gentleman's agreement with you. And I said, what's that? He said, I'm going to keep you healthy if you make me wealthy. And I looked him in the eyes and I thought, I believe this guy. I shook his hand and that's what started this business.
Wow. Wow. Powerful story.
Now, Bright, I'm 57 years old and I can still tie my shoes. So he honored his part of the agreement.
Wow. Powerful story. Thank you for sharing. This is amazing. Amazing. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. This is really inspiring. Thank you for sharing. Can I ask the second question?
Yeah.
So there are so many companies, network marketing companies. What first of all, what influenced your decision to partner with a network marketing company, and why xosialX?
Nothing influenced me to partner with a network marketing company because it was never even on my radar. So I am a tried and true Wall Street banker. Been a part of 49 companies and raised several billions of dollars. Wall Street, we think we're really smart and we think we control everything. Most of the people aren't really smart and we control nothing, but they don't know that. So in this business, 32 of our 36 years have been spent with every resource figuring out your brain. We didn't have a marketing team. We don't have a sales team. We just had a mission to figure out how to manage the human brain. And that mission took us 32 years. So as we served people, mostly in surgical environments and in medicine, people were having surgery. So we started to find vertical integration with the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, pilots, professional athletes, only by virtue, Bright, of them coming and having a surgery with no general anesthesia. And then their curiosity said, what was that you had on me? How does this work? So we started to build a business in parallel based on the efficacy of the product and word of mouth. In the last 4 years, we successfully transitioned from a $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device to a mobile app. I don't believe historically, I don't believe to this day that's ever been done before. I don't know of any neuroscience product that went from a Class 3 regulated medical device to a mobile app. And we finished our invention in July of 2022. There is no more brainwave frequency for us to determine, invent, and figure out. Our brains aren't going to evolve in the next, century and create a new category. We have delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma, and that's what we have. So we are now liberated to begin to market our product. Now, David DiArcangelo is a gentleman I've worked with for a couple of years now. This is our 3rd year. I don't know when our anniversary is, but I'm sure he'll take me out to dinner and woo me with flowers, I hope. Wink, wink. So it was late in the fall. And David is a very bright guy, and he's, been around the block. So he's not going to fall for anything with ease. And there's been a systematic approach to his understanding of the product. And he's seen and been on the inside of our company for a long time. He came to me in the fall. He said, Jim, I got a great partner idea for you. I said, okay. I said, what is it? He said, it's MLM. I said, no, thank you. He said, no. Hear me out. Of course I'll hear you out. You've built the best product in the world in its category. Never seen anything like it. You've made it scalable. It's digital. It's amazing. How would you like, Jim, to have a group of integrous, honorable, smart, experienced, and mature humans to talk about your product across the globe? How would you like doctors of osteopathy, chiropractors, functional medicine, integrative medicine, doctors who are forced by Western medicine, that's basically a distribution channel for pharmaceutical companies, to play in the ethers of network marketing so that they can bring products to the world that are not pharmaceuticals? How would you like that? I said, you're definitely getting my attention. I think it sounds really good. So he said, I have a group, and this group I've known for 40 years. Now I know David, so I trust him intrinsically. And he said, this group is honorable, they're integrous, And I think we'd have a really good opportunity for you to continue to build the best product in the world and get it out there as a force multiplier with professional people that care, that are intellectually curious and literally just want to improve their life, the people in their network's life, build health and build wealth. Are you interested? I said, yes. I didn't tell my team because my team would be like, what are you talking about? We ain't doing MLM. So I just said, okay, I'll just hear it out and see how this works. Then I met Stu, and then we started just feeling this out, seeing how this goes. And then in January, I was like, okay, we're in. Because, Bright, there's no skin off my back if you're not successful. I have no intentions of spending time in the industry anyway. I have my hands full with the FBI, with cancer patients, with professional athletes, pilots, doctors, you name it. I've got my hands full. I'm busy. So here, have at it. And David said, well, it'd be really nice if you gave us exclusive rights. Wink, wink. And I'm like, all right. You're asking a lot here, mofo. Now, I love you, but come on, man. We've never offered exclusive rights to anybody. Why would we? You have to prove yourself to get that gain. But strategically, I thought to myself, what do we have to lose? I have no intention of spreading myself into network marketing. I have every intention of allowing David DiArcangelo to be my gatekeeper, my doorman, and my connective tissue to the organization. So it wasn't an easy ask for David, and it wasn't an easy yes from me, but it seemed like the right thing to do. And so in February, we started to build, and I started to look at this, and then I introduced the concept to my executive team and my board of directors. And I didn't feel like it was a bad thing. I felt like, wow, let's give this a go. Let's take our product. Let's bring this to bright people who want to be better and do better. Let's bring this product to market with a great compensation structure, good humans doing good things for good humans, and exclusive rights. So that's how this came to be. You can give David DiArcangelo a big smooch and a big hug because he is the man who brokered this deal.
Wow.
And I think it's exceptional.
Wow. David, God bless you for this. You are awesome. Wow.
Thank you. It's a team, and I'm just so happy and grateful to be able to make the impact we all are. This is absolutely a gift from the Most High, and thank you. I thank you, Jim.
And we're loving this, Bright. I'll tell you right now. David said, all I need from you is just to educate. Well, I love educating. You know why? Because nobody knows any of this stuff. So it's like, you got to know. It'd be really nice if I was a kid, if someone sat me down and said, Jim, let me tell you how your brain works, because you're going to need it for the rest of your life. I love to educate, and I'm still learning. 17 years of this. Every day we're still learning, whether it's because I'm on my hands and knees with the FBI for 5 days last week, and I'm seeing 1,600 elite operators, and I'm seeing their response, and I'm hearing their questions, or if it's in our product development where we're doing voiceovers with some of the world's leaders, and we're making incredible products to serve your needs and your demands and listening to what you're doing. So we are perpetually learning, and I love to share that knowledge with anybody who will listen, even animals. I'll educate animals too. If you get a group of cats and dogs together, I'll lecture to them too.
Wow, that's amazing. This product is one of the most impressive products I've seen. My clinic, we use NuCalm at the clinic, and we have clients coming in for surgery. They are so anxious, very high anxiety, and we NuCalm them. Today, my anesthetist was saying that he's going to introduce it in his other clinics where he works during the spinal anesthesia procedure, so the clients start using NuCalm, and
Yes.
and it's just amazing.
So Bright,
Jim,
let me just share with the audience a simple equation there, and your anesthesiologist would know this. In the evolution of our brain, there is the amygdala and the fight or flight mechanism of the autonomic nervous system. And that area of our brain governs fear, stress, anxiety, worry. So when a patient comes in and they're anxious, of course they are. Their central nervous system doesn't want you to invade them, period. And it knows that it's a surgery. But here's where medicine gets it wrong. I come in presenting to you fear and anxiety, which is an autonomic nervous system problem governed by the reptilian brain of the amygdala. Why would giving me a benzodiazepine and suppressing my central nervous system be the answer? It's not. So that's why on November 5th, 2009, Chicago, Illinois, we did our first surgery without general anesthesia. Now we knew that we were going to do good work. It wasn't like, hey, let's get a guinea pig here. Let's torture this person. We knew what we were going to do. But the reality is, give us 4 to 5 minutes, allow us the opportunity to put that patient in a state, it's hypnagogic dissociation, where they're at 4 hertz, and allow us then the opportunity to operate on them without imposing our will on their central nervous system. And today, we're up to 2,700,000 surgeries. We did a lot of before and afters. So you see every day the anticipatory anxiety of a patient. They don't want to be there. They're in fight or flight. Their eyes are fluttering. Their mouth is dry. They're talking in gibberish. And you just want to give them a hug. You're like, it's going to be okay. Then we would NuCalm them. They'd have the operation. They'd get out of the operation. We'd videotape them. And they'd look at us and say, I knew you were operating on me. I couldn't find a place to care. That's the power of suspending your brain at 4 hertz.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow.
So even your
Awesome.
anesthesiologist, if they would like, they can still use anesthesia. They just have to titrate it and use a lot less. Because
Yes.
once you downregulate the fear response, the body is permeable. We saw this in dentistry early on because nitric acid or nitrous acid, nitrous oxide is used. So laughing gas is used in an operatory. And there was a woman who vomited in the chair because the doctor gave her the same amount he always gave her, but she was on NuCalm. So her body was relaxed and basically poisoned because it was too much. Once you downregulate the stress response, your anesthesiologist can titrate down the amount of benzos that they use.
Awesome. Wow.
And then one
Thank
more
you
thing,
so
Bright.
much.
One more thing. Pre, post, and peri-surgery. If we limit the anxiety and we slow down the stress response, what happens? The body heals faster because you reduce the inflammatory response. So you literally will see do NuCalm rescue a couple times, even the morning of the surgery. During the surgery, use NuCalm, and then after the surgery, use NuCalm as fast as possible. And if we can slow down the cortisol, the inflammatory response, the body heals so much faster. And you'll see this. If you start doing this with your patients, you will see it seems like a miracle. It's not. It's downregulating the stress response and allowing the body to heal faster post-surgery.
Impressive. This is amazing. Think about it. Awesome. Jim, thanks for sharing this. So, if I may ask, where do you see NuCalm in the next 24 months, in the next 2 years?
I see. So we spend a lot of time building. We spend a lot of time figuring it out. We spend a lot of time learning and then going through patents and going through clinical studies and all that stuff. And that part of our journey is over. Now it's a matter of how do we make this accessible, affordable, and easy? Accessible, affordable, and easy. How do we get this onto the heads of as many humans as possible? I don't think it's by educating people on the complexity of your brain and the complexity of our solution. Science doesn't, for me, talking to science doesn't really get your attention. But if I say, hey, do you happen to have a mobile phone? Yes. Do you happen to have access to a headphone? Yes. Would you like immediate relief without drugs? What? Yes. Press start. So our goal is simplify, simplify, simplify. Leonardo da Vinci in the 1500s had a great quote, and that is, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Sophistication.
Yes. That's our goal. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Because we know if you do rescue 3 days in a row, you'll realize, wow, I really have lost command of my mind. My monkey mind is dictating my day. My monkey mind is dictating my life. My monkey mind is dictating my digestion and my food choices and my life and my sleep. Well, you liberate yourself from something you don't even know you're carrying. You don't want to go back. So 3 rescues in a row, we got you. Because once you realize how your brain can be, and then your sleep, that combination, you're like, okay, I love this because now I feel like I'm more in command of the person I want to be, not chasing around ideas and chaos in my head. All right, so you asked the question, 24 months. I'd like to see us on the heads and in the lives of 10, 20, 30 million people. And it's not just the person that's using NuCalm. It's everybody around that person. Because invariably, as soon as you lower the stress response, the spouse notices something different. As soon as you lower the stress response, the children notice something different. That's the amazing piece of this. When I hear people like, you gave me my mom back, or you gave me my husband back. Come on. That's incredible. And it's not that hard. Just do rescue and deep sleep. We got you. So it's a force multiplier, Bright. We take care of 30 million people using our product. We really take care of 150 to 300 million people because it cascades to this entire network. And all of us know humans were like sponges. Through osmosis, we pick up energy patterns. And when we're in the presence of someone highly agitated and anxious, we leave that experience anxious. When we're in the presence of someone really low energy and depressed, we leave that experience depressed. Well, how about leaving where someone's liberated from stress, thinking clearly, confident, and able to be their best self? That's what we want to try to do.
Yes. Yes. I see that.
And here's
One,
what's
one
fun,
of the,
Bright. Here's what's fun for everybody on this call. You guys are at the starting line. I wish it didn't take us 32 years to figure out the brain, but I've eaten enough humble pie. You can't cut corners when you're dealing with the human brain. We never could, and we really didn't even know. We were never on a mission to solve the entirety of your brain and put it all in a mobile app. That was never the idea 17 years ago. It was to solve complex trauma. Along the way, we figured out this journey, but we are at the beginning, the seminal moment in the genesis of us truly making an impact on humanity and how humans regulate themselves. We don't even know how we regulate ourselves. We rely on caffeine, we rely on sugar, we rely on alcohol, we rely on recreational drugs, we rely on exercise, we rely on all these external stimulation to modulate our behavior, our mood, and our thoughts with no thought of it. Well, you don't need any of those things. You just need a headphone and a mobile app, and we can modulate your experience any way you want. For me personally, NuCalm's on my brain like 18 hours a day. It's embarrassing, and I love it.
Hey, Bright, can I ask Jim a question that I always wanted to ask in the beginning is like, Jim, what's your protocol every day? What NuCalm tracks do you do and when?
A day in the life of a CEO in Tampa, Florida. I start my day early, and I usually exercise, nothing to do with NuCalm. Then I shower and I come into my office. In my office, I've got monitors and stuff, and we're a global company, just like you guys are global. So I always have information coming to me through emails in Southeast Asia, Australia, etc. I put on Triumphant twice in a row to start my day every morning. I start maybe a little mentally lethargic, and within a couple minutes, both feet are tapping, my brain is thinking, and I'm like, okay, let's go. It's going to be a great day. There's nothing you can send my way that's going to deter me from that great day. Triumphant starts my day. I love Triumphant. I love the Ode to Beethoven. I love Bach, all of it. That starts my day. Then, as I start getting into the nitty gritty, I use focus throughout my morning. But if I'm lucky, like say I got 3 or 4 presentations a day. After Triumphant, I put on voice coaching with Roger Love. Me, 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 me. And I sing like an opera singer. And my kids are like, Dad, the neighbors can hear you. And I said, that's nice. I hope it sounds good. So for 15 minutes, I do my vocal training, and I love it. I leave that training feeling good. There's endorphins that flow, there's breath work, but I feel like I have a command of my voice. I will do Neil Bulchandani's mouth work because being a wrestler and a martial artist, my body's a little bit broken. It's not a little bit broken. I've broken a lot. Bright, you'd love it. I've had 4 discs removed from my spine, 14 hospitalized concussions, complex or compound fracture of my left clavicle. Both shoulders have been dislocated 3 times, tore both rotator cuffs, broke both knees, broke every phalange. Yeah, so I'm like Evel Knievel minus the fame and fortune. So, you know, I could use a little TLC. So the mouth work with Neil Bulchandani literally is helping resolve some of the structural spinal issues that I have developed over time. My wife, in parallel in her office, she's a yoga instructor. I hear her playing Wake Up with Jim Quick, Money Mindset with Mark Victor Hansen, and Gratitude with Tony Robbins. So we both have parallel paths. Sometimes I'll get in, there's a lymphatic drainage plate, vibration plate, and I'll get in her office and I'll listen to Gratitude or Money Mindset. So I'm using the priming products in the morning to prime my day. I've been using NuCalm for 17 years. I get to think like a monk and act like a capitalist. It's a very powerful juxtaposition. I've got a great life, but I'm still prone to my amygdala and my worry center trying to steer my day down the wrong path. I won't tolerate it. So those tracks, Wake Up with Jim Quick, Gratitude with Tony Robbins, Money Mindset with Mark Victor Hansen, those are unbelievably powerful. And the more you listen to them, it changes the neuronal circuitry of your brain and gives you more command. So that's my morning routine. Focus then throughout the day. This morning I was a little fatigued. I spent 5 days off the grid training 1,600 FBI operators. It was exhausting. These guys they're very tough, they're very broken, and there was just a lot of this, and some hugs, and a lot of NuCalm, and a lot of this, and the days were long. So I came home, and I had 2 16-hour days when I got home because my schedule got pushed. And so over the weekend, I looked at my wife, I was like, I'm really low energy. She said, you think? You haven't stopped moving. I was in Europe for 29 days, and I came home for 2, and then I did the FBI. So this morning, I already snuck upstairs and did a rescue. I never do that. But I could feel my eyes heavy I could feel my eyes heavy. I was like, you know what? I'm not tolerating this. So I already did a 30-minute rescue with red light. It was brilliant. I feel so good. So rescue is typically my afternoon go-to, and I schedule time in my day. Focus throughout the day, rescue. Then, if I'm going to go work out in the afternoon, I'll do Ignite with in-ear buds to prep me for the workout, and then while I'm working out, I use Ignite. And I shouldn't, because I'm 57 and I work out like crazy, and my wife's convinced I'm going to have a heart attack when I'm working out, and I probably will. But you'll know that I went out hard and I went out listening to Ignite. After Ignite, shower, and I'll do rescue again, and then focus throughout the day, and then deep sleep at night. So literally, with exception of flow state, because I'm just not a creative guy, if I'm going to spend 20 minutes of my life, heal me. I don't need to write poetry this afternoon. I need to be healed so that I can work all day. So flow state's the only one I don't spend a lot of time with. But this is on my brain, David, 18 to 20 hours a day. It's brilliant. We got 3 cats. They love it. Literally, it's cats and dogs can hear the physics that you can't hear. It's inaudible to the human ear. When you put headphones on, you will never hear what we're doing. You can't. But your cats and dogs can. Pigs and horses too. I don't know about other animals yet, but I'm sure they've got high sensitive hearing. But yeah. So that's my daily life. This little, I tell my wife I've been married for 33 years. Said I've been cheating on you for 17. She knows. NuCalm is my mistress. That's just my life, and she's adopted it. So she's cheating on me with her NuCalm. So there you go. So this is it, man. This is my life. NuCalm.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll invite Dr. Kweku Ohiniasari. He's a professor of economics, 50K associate. He's the fastest running champion in the organization. Hugh Gemstone. Prof, please unmute and ask some questions, if you please to. Maybe whilst he prepares. Jim, one of the things I love about the app is the stress test. It's such huge one.
That's a big one, Bright. That's a big one.
Yes.
Everything we do has so much meticulous design behind it. As a doctor, if you were to spend a year studying everything we did, you'd be like, how did you do this? I don't even know. But it's done. Well, the meticulous design of the stress test really changes because of the accuracy associated. The ease of use, 35 seconds, but your voice, because it's connected to the vagus nerve through the laryngeal nerve, your words can lie, but your voice can't. So it doesn't matter if you try to trick it, doesn't matter how you try to trick it. If you get a good, you can't. If you get a good recording, we will give you the most precise measurement of your nervous system balance at that moment in time, every time. And what's interesting, Bright, is NuCalm is like a tuning fork. There's resonance involved. So even after you get done with rescue, your body and your cells are still integrating the therapy we just gave you. So you can do the stress test an hour later and probably get a better score because now you're fully integrated. Yeah, but the stress test is amazing. We use that with the FBI, and we use that for military operational readiness to determine how ready the operator is. So the commanding officers have been looking for accurate measurements forever. They've relied on Whoop and Garmin, which are mediocre, and they're convenient, but they're not accurate. So now all the operators do the stress test before the mission, and if they're in the 70s or 80s, said, no, go do a 20-minute rescue and redo it, or you're not gearing up.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Jim, follow-up question. I noticed the stress test has got two previous recordings in the history. Is it possible to have maybe like a month record? That would be great.
Anything's possible, Bright. Anything is possible. We got a treat coming because we're capturing 1 million data points in that 35 seconds, but we're only evaluating 10,000 specific biometrics associated with your voice, your vagus nerve, and your autonomic nervous system. So in the information, we can determine hormonal dysregulation, nutritional factors. There's a lot of information in there that we haven't brought to market yet because we wanted to crawl, walk, run. We're in the nervous system regulation business, so let's validate the impact of NuCalm. Great. But behind that scene, there's a tremendous amount of data. And that's coming. That's next level. So, yeah, it's coming. On the interface of what we can do and how we can do it, there's so much opportunity for us. Remember, we're just at the beginning here. We're at the beginning of saying, how can we interface more with AI and really personalize the experience specifically for Bright? Bright's a doctor. Bright's got a family. Bright has these aspirations. Bright has this sleep schedule. Okay, do the stress test. Let's set up Bright now with 26 minutes of this particular rescue product. Just get your eye mask and headphones. You don't have to make any decisions. That's the future of where we're headed. So incorporating more AI to personalize this for you. I love the fact that everybody's brain oscillates in the same frequency range. I love the fact that our math and physics direct you to an outcome. I love the fact we don't need any information from you. But I also love the opportunity to get more personal and to make this even easier for you so that there's one less decision you have to make in your daily life.
Jim, I have a quick question for you in regards to this too. I'm going to jump in real quick. For a network marketer and to build a business like this, you need to have certain things. One is you have to have a really unique product. You've check that off for us in a way that we've never seen in our experience in 40 years, having something that is one of one that is not available anywhere else, that exclusivity. Number two, you've got the fact that you've updated that in just the first few months. We've only had it for less than 4 months now, and you've already updated and made advancements and added new programs, and now you're talking about this, which is just blowing my mind, because there's so much more that we're going to be able to add, which is amazing. The question I have for you, though, in regards to business and residual income is this: what is the retention like for people that have experienced NuCalm? Because not all products in our industry have great retention, and that speaks to the residual income potential globally about what we're offering.
Adam, I wouldn't call that a plant question, but it's one hell of a question, and it's a question I love to answer. Here's what we've seen. We have the beauty of data. In God we trust, everybody else bring data. I don't need hypotheses. I don't need ideas. We have 2.5 billion minutes of customer data. 2.5 billion minutes doesn't mean a lot to people until I tell you it's 4,756 years. That seems like a lot of data. So here's what we've seen. Adam, any human who is suffering, who's introduced to NuCalm, will never leave us, period. They're suffering. That suffering is just so frustrating. Medicine, as Bright knows, is trial and error a lot of times. It's like auto mechanics. It's trial and error. We don't know. There's epigenetic variables. There's so many variables to the human body. I don't know exactly what's going on. So a lot of times there's disease states, they just, punch things in. Oh, that sounds like Lyme disease. No, it's not. Or it sounds like ADHD. No, it's not. So that's a problem. When you are suffering and we provide relief, you embrace this with open arms and you use this for the rest of your life. The military, they're operational. Their survival is paramount to their ability to perform and achieve their mission. Pilots and professional athletes, all three categories are ritualistic, and if something works, they make it a habit. And so many of these folks have been with us literally for like 15 years. The head of the FBI, 79 professional sports teams. We know them. We know their families. We know when they have children. We know when they get traded. They love this product because it allows them to perform at a higher level and keep them safe if it's military warfighter. So they're going to always use this. Unfortunately, what we've noticed, and this is before deepest sleep, the common human will use it in crisis and then forget about it because they don't want to spend 20 minutes of their life giving to their nervous system. I can't implore you and come to your home and say, okay, it's time for NuCalm, get your headphones. So that's a challenge for us. However, Adam, we've noticed a big uptick in adoption once we brought deepest sleep to the world because it is so easy. With a speaker in your bedroom, you press start. If you have iffy, spotty Wi-Fi, you download the programs to the device, and Wi-Fi is not the issue. On January 20th, we had a historic launch where we launched 3 new products and the stress test in the app and 190 hours of content. It was a big deal. And we saw a spike in usage up 232% to 3 million minutes a day. So I think the more we improve the ease of use and the power, it's funny. I forget because I've been using this for 17 years, but I just witnessed 1,600 strangers get out of their first rescue experience and they're like, oh, what is this? The power and predictability of this solution warrants and gets your attention. And how this works is like this. Humans are smart, but we fall for everything because we hope. Hope is the number one emotion of the human species. Fear is second. Fortunately, hope wins the day or else we'd be extinct. So you try NuCalm for the first time and you can't even believe it because you've never felt that level of peace and relaxation. And you've never felt your mind empty. You're like, I have nothing going on in my head. This feels amazing. And maybe some of you attribute it to the NuCalm experience, and maybe some of you don't, because you don't know. Then the next day you do it, you say, okay, similar experience, maybe even better. Maybe there's something to this. So we have to beat down the skepticism that we've all created because we've been lied to by a million companies 10 million times. At some point, you're like, maybe if it sounds too good to be true. But it's that third time you do it, and you start noticing something about rescue. You start noticing things that normally would agitate you don't bother you at all. And then you're like, okay, something's going on here, and I like it. So for us, Adam, the challenge is simplify, 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 and make the product so powerful you can't say no. When we see organizations like cancer patients, trauma, addiction, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, neurodegenerative disease, any of those disease states are going to use this every day because we're providing relief that they haven't gotten elsewhere. The military, the professional athlete, they're going to use it because they're ritualistic by nature and they're so habitualized. It's the rest of us that I'm concerned about, and it's really hard to get maternal mamas to take care of themselves first. We always say,
You know, in the airline, when the air comes down, take care of yourself first.
well, we conceptually understand that, but females are inherently built and structured different than males, that they must take care of everybody else first, and they still forget, I have to take care of me. And females, as Adam Bright and David and all of us men know, they got the short stick, man. I love being a man. It is so easy. It's pathetically easy.
Well, I gotta say, it's amazing to me how I feel after being involved in using Deepest Sleep Plus 4 months straight. I don't think I've missed not even one day. And you're right, things that used to bother me, I'm like, hey, that's not so bad anymore. And so I noticed that I'm not going without it. And I also know that the retention appears to be, to me, over 80% of people that get involved. And like you say, the biggest challenge is I can't go into your home and say, okay, it's time for NuCalm, right? So you kind of have to remind people, oh, by the way, did you do rescue today? Oh, did you sleep with it? How did you sleep last night? You kind of have to reach out to new people and just kind of remind them, because it is now a new habit that they may not be accustomed to. Right?
You could share your stress test score with them. You could do a little contest.
Yeah, I like
hey,
that.
I challenge you to beat this. I also have learned, Adam, that I may think that to a friend, rescue and deepest sleep is important. I know it is for resilience and longevity, but maybe that's not their priority. Maybe for them, focus is the best track. So asking them to try different things is helpful too. Hey, have you done the priming? Well, have you done Roger Love's voice coaching? Well, I'm not a singer. It's not for singing, it's for voice. So there are, in the catalog of 8 outcomes, there has to be something that sticks and resonates with every person that we touch. So I think there's that opportunity as well. And you'll also notice, Adam, if you've been using Rescue and Deepest Sleep for 4 months, there's something cool that's going to happen. You're going to start dreaming again. And the dreams are vivid. And the dreams are bizarre. And the dreams are awesome. Personally, for me, this is weird and it's vulnerable and it's an insight into me, but I'm in Russia a lot, killing a lot of Russians, and I've never been to war and I don't shoot a gun. In my dreams, I'm just
You're a little violent
and my
in
wife's,
those dreams.
yeah, my wife's like, you're thrashing at night. And I'm like, I was on a mission. I was killing Russians. I don't know what that means and I don't care, but I have a lot of weird dreams too. I used to have really, really specific weird dreams about mundane tasks. Why? Why at 57 am I dreaming again? Because your body always wanted to be in homeostasis. It never wanted to leave. But in puberty, you became hormonally dysregulated and your circadian rhythm got corrupted. And it never gets back. But guess what? Balancing the nervous system is foundational to all the sleep architecture. So everybody who does rescue in deep sleep, you're going to dream again, and it's never going to stop. You've got crazy dreams. In the morning, I walk with my wife, and she's sharing with me her dreams, and I'm sharing with her my dreams, and I'm like, what is going on here? It's because we are actually getting the sleep and the depth and the REM and the positive restorative aspect of sleep that we haven't gotten in years.
So good. Absolutely amazing. So we have Dr. Kwaku, who is available now and has a few questions. I have to tell you, he has broken all land speed records in xosialX. He made it to 50K in 50 days. Dr. Kwaku, are you out there, my friend?
Yes, Adam, and thanks so much, Jim, for all the elaborations and every discussions you've been having. I love the joy in which you are talking. It just shows that it's part of you.
It is part of me. At some point, I became NuCalm and NuCalm became me. I'm like married to it. You know how some people look like their pets? I look like NuCalm.
Yeah, that's really good. So I have two questions that I want to ask. A lot of healthcare professionals, they normally ask about clinical evidence, peer-reviewed articles to support. I am a researcher, I'm a professor myself, and I have a lot of colleagues like that who want to be able to get the clinical studies, publish peer-reviewed articles. I have myself looked at some of the work done by the postdoctoral students in Harvard University who did the initial work on NuCalm. But what answer would you give? Where are some of these so that we will be able to help those communities? Because such people are very smart, and once they get it, they because they have credibility in society, once they get it, people buy their belief. So that's the first question.
Yes, it's a great question. Let me hang on one second. I know you've seen this, but this is where I would go. Let's see, hang on one second. So our research background was unique because as pioneers, there was no point of reference. It wasn't like, hey, do this study done by this group 10 years ago. There was nothing. We had to figure this out on our own. And that was fascinating.
Sorry, Jim, are you trying to show your screen?
I'm going to in a second here. So
all right, okay.
I'm going to share now if I can. Send request. Request has been sent. Share. Here we go. Boom. Let's see. Okay, so you've seen this page, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is where we host the product research. In 2009, we established a medical advisory board of 52 of the best scientists I could find. Statistical biophysicist Dr. Chung-Kang Pang at Harvard Medical School. Now, Chung-Kang Pang said, I'm not going to do the research. I'm not going to get the data. I'm not going to publish it. If you were to do this, it'd be several years and about $500,000, and Harvard would take the money. But if you get me the raw data, I will assess anything using our nonlinear frequency domain mathematical models. So in this one here, let's see, this here, this is the sweet spot because this is all the data we used for 5 years studying stage 4 cancer in the Chicago Blackhawks professional hockey team to be awarded the only patent in the world for balancing the nervous system of a human being, educating intellectual property lawyers who were independent. This here is the lion's share of a lot of our research. This here, an analysis of a novel device for anxiety and treatment, these are peer-reviewed, and these are done by a doctor named Elio Conti, one of the world's leading statistical biophysicists. Here's where it gets fun. We never paid a single person a single penny for our research. Our 52 medical advisors are purely independent, and I never even gave them anything for free. It was very important for me early on because I didn't know what we didn't know, and they didn't know what we didn't know. So we literally figured it out as we went. But this one here, and you'll see in the actual study itself, the doctors or whoever, but the sample size is several hundred people out of the hospital in Italy. So you've got 100 clinically depressive patients, you have 100 clinically anxious patients. This is where the research would be, and you can see the level of complexity used, mostly quantitative EEG, galvanic skin response, and HRV. So these three up top, and it also follows a progression. because from 2009 to 2021, we had 4 components. So everything was always done together. And then this last one here is with the biosignal processing disc. This affidavit I love because Dr. Tung Kang Pang is one of the world's leading mathematicians with over 65,000 medical citations. And he literally writes that affidavit to the patent office and explains the research and what he witnessed. So this is what I would look at, all of these pieces.
Incredible, incredible. They are really fantastic, and that will help. Now, related to that question has to do with, a lot of people have health challenges, and their mind is when they are using NuCalm, they want to draw a connection between the NuCalm and the disease they have, the health challenge they have. And in their mind, they think that I am taking this to be able to clear this particular disease. The connection between pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals. And how would you help the person to be able to not see this as a deliberate or complete cure, but then it's still helping?
I love it. And I would love for anybody who's suffering disease to equate NuCalm with helping them battle the disease. I think that's a really good method to use because, as you know, when people are diagnosed with a disease, too often they anchor their personality and their place in this world by the disease. That's toxic and that's very dangerous for a human because what happens is they become, hey, I'm the cancer patient. And if they begin to heal, they want to become the cancer patient because they're not getting the attention they used to get. So the whole disease, DSM-5, diagnosis, you've got this, you've got that, I think is a dangerous game to play. How I would educate any patient and any human is I'd break it down to the fundamentals. Did you know that your nervous system is foundational to everything in your life, period? What do you mean? A balanced nervous system allows you to digest properly. A balanced nervous system allows you hormonal regulation, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, etc. A balanced nervous system allows you to have access to your sexual, energy. A balanced nervous system allows you to sleep well. A balanced nervous system allows your mental health to be best. A balanced nervous system allows your physical presence to be your best. A balanced nervous system allows your cellular resilience to fight disease. A balanced nervous system leads to longevity. So what do you think will happen if we balance your nervous system? Your body knows how to heal you. NuCalm is not the healer. NuCalm is the facilitator to allow the body to do its job. So I will speak to cancer patients every month. I work with Dr. Janet Ranicky, MD, PhD, and literally an angelic force of nature. For more than 40 years, we've helped people stay alive whose medical oncologist here in America has told them to go pass with dignity. The medical system in America has failed to keep them alive. Go home, prepare yourself for the next transition. No. Because when you're diagnosed with that disease, stress and fear, anxiety, anticipation, confusion compromises your adrenals. You're constantly in this cortisol, constantly is go, 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 constantly creating chaos in your microbiome, in your brain, and in your sleep. So when you need sleep the most so that you can restore and heal, you get it the least. NuCalm isn't coming to cure any disease. NuCalm is coming to liberate the chaos of the stress response and the poor sleep and give your body the tools it needs to help you heal. Now, Alzheimer's, neurodegenerative disease, amyloid plaque, we're not reversing Alzheimer's, but we will improve the experience significantly because when the Alzheimer's patient is stressed, there's sundowning and aggression. When the Alzheimer's patient is stressed, their memory is more compromised. Any disease and the symptomology of that disease is catalyzed and exacerbated by the human stress response. So what I like to do, first of all, I like to give people hope because hope is paramount. But I say, hey, NuCalm can do no harm. I can't give you a defined treatment protocol. I don't know all the variables, but I do know this. You do rescue every day and deep sleep at night, we balance your nervous system. A balanced nervous system can do miracles for you.
I got it. Perfect.
Jim,
Excellent.
quick one. Has there been any experience with NuCalm and autism?
Ah, now you're getting near and dear to my heart. In 2019, I did a keynote lecture in Beijing, China, to about 2,500 integrative and functional medicine doctors. In about 12 years ago, there was a study done by Harvard Medical School to illustrate that one of the proliferations of the autism and the spectrum is a deficiency in GABA. We've lost the amino acids in our food supply. Well, certainly in America, we've been poisoning our public for more than 40 years. So when the diet lacks balance and natural nutrition, the brain lacks GABA, and GABA is the body's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. It's how we regulate from overload in our senses. So as soon as you allow a child or an adult with autism to try NuCalm, oh my goodness, you're going to experience a relief that you never thought possible. Because think about it, they're overloaded with their senses all the time. They're so wound so tight. Their parents have secondary PTSD because you can never stop worrying about your child. So in the environment of this constant vigilance and this constant, you relax all of it. Miracles will happen when you bring NuCalm into the brain of someone with autism or Asperger's, and then it cascades to the parents. And that's what we see all the time. You can downregulate the stress response. You can downregulate the overload to your senses. You can give balance to the nervous system of someone with autism. And you will see demonstrative changes in their behavioral pattern, their sleep, and their overall wellness and brain health.
Beautiful. Jim, which programs?
Rescue and deepest sleep. Rescue and deepest sleep. Rescue and deepest sleep. So rescue, keep in mind, rescue was the invention. Rescue was the path, and 4 hertz is the key to healing. Every minute you're in 4 hertz, your body's healing, restoring. You're building resilience and longevity. Every minute you're not in rescue, your body's breaking down. You would want to be in rescue for 2 hours a day. You'd probably live to be 225 years old. I think you might be wrinkly and maybe a little slow, but 225 sounds okay. Here's the challenge, Bright. Your brain is smarter than this technology. And you'll notice, if you try to stay in rescue too long, you literally get bored and agitated. You're like, get me out. What we've seen from all the data, rescue, when you're well adjusted, it's about 25 to 27 minutes, all the way up to about 34 minutes. That seems to be the baseline for a balanced nervous system. When you start working with patients who are coming in and they're anxious, they could be down for 70 minutes. When we started working with cancer patients 15 years ago, they were in for 120 minutes. We built the longer rescue programs to deal with the more diseased state, right? The more compromised that nervous system is. But what we've noticed is fascinating. Your body always wanted to be in homeostasis. It's your monkey mind and the chaos between our ears that challenges everything. When we get diagnosed with a disease, man, we're plagued. There's gremlins in here doing a lot of bad things to my mind, which in turn is creating a lot of cortisol. Your body wants to be in balance. The biggest example I can give you, this is 2014, we're at Hippocrates Health Institute, and we're working with a comprehensive cancer wellness program. I'm working with a woman with metastatic stage 4 brain cancer, and her brain was swelling. She was in rough shape. We NuCalmed her, and I thought she may have passed while we were NuCalming her. She was in there for 4 hours and 24 minutes. I'd never seen anybody. We did a surgery that was 9 hours long. Fine, that's surgery. But I'd never seen a human be in rescue for 4 hours and 24 minutes. There were several times during that experience I literally put my head close to her chest to see if she was still breathing. Next day she comes in and she doesn't look like herself. She looks like a Hollywood model. She's unrecognizable. I was like, you look amazing. She's like, I slept last night for the first time in like 20 years. The next day, she was in NuCalm for an hour and like 10 minutes. Wow. She reduced that by 75%. The next day, she was in for 56 minutes. The next day, she was in for 42 minutes. So we have someone who's on the verge of leaving us, who's plagued. She's so stressed out, but it took 4 days for us to balance her nervous system. You will see that across the population because your body wants the help. Your body's begging for the help. And there are people that say, hey, I just tried deep sleep last night. I woke up tired. Yeah, because your brain said, wow, thank you for that gift. I need more. If you ever wake up from rescue tired, it's simply your brain saying, thank you, I need more. If you wake up from deep sleep and you're tired, thank you, I need more. We have lost the art of listening to our body. We allow our monkey mind to drive us to do our to-do list at a pace that's untenable. We're constantly in a race. Stop, take a breath, and listen. Today, I woke up tired. Monday, how can I be tired? Well, I was. I didn't fight with myself. I went up at 11:30 and I did rescue, right? I'm no longer tired. So listen to your body and use this tool to fill in the gaps when you need it, how you need it.
Thank you, Jim. Jim, have you had any reports of side effects from using the programs on the app?
Zero. NuCalm can do no harm. One of the things about Blake being a naturopath is we always looked at ways, how can we naturally mimic the body's natural processes for preparing you for sleep? That's really all we're doing. We just happen to use physics and math, but all we're doing is cycling your brain to a healthy state of 4 hertz. There are some people, Bright, that'll say, hey, NuCalm gave me a headache. I said, yeah, probably not. That's physiologically impossible. Well, no, it gave me a headache. I said, well, where's the headache? Is it here? Yeah, well, it's probably dehydration. Oh. It gave me a headache. Yeah, do you normally get a headache every night before you go to sleep? No. Then NuCalm didn't give you a headache. So there are some people that'll say, hey, NuCalm did this. No, it didn't. NuCalm just did his job. There are days you're dehydrated. You may have a headache. There are days where you're glucose deficient. You wake up and you're like, wow, I'm hungry. As you know, Bright, in surgery, hypoglycemia overrides anything in the body. You will override NuCalm if you are hypoglycemic. If your body is that low on glucose, your body will begin to shake. It's the only thing we've seen override NuCalm, and that's hypoglycemia. And people come in NPO for surgery, which is a terrible thing to do, but the anesthesiologist doesn't want food in their belly. The whole thing's a little bit cross-eyed, but that's another story.
Awesome. Jim, so as you can see, Africa is a rapidly growing market. We are excited about NuCalm. It's rapidly growing in the market. And one of the things that we come across is I've spoken to business owners, university leaders, bank top leaders, and one question keeps coming up. Can we get enterprise accounts for a staff of 50, 100, 200, 1,000? Are there any plans in motion to roll out
Yes,
enterprise
there
accounts?
are. So David
Beautiful.
DiArcangelo and myself are working on plans to ensure that we can do one-to-many. Because
Awesome.
it is important for any enterprise. You know, we humans were amazingly gifted at a lot of things and we're amazingly plagued at many others. For example, we are creatures of habit. Patterns are our life, even if they're not good patterns. So we have thousands and thousands and thousands of business owners, Bright, that have been using NuCalm for years to be successful. David DiArcangelo writes a book, NuCalm, Your Unfair Advantage. I present it to our customers like, oh my God, it never even occurred to me to bring this to my company. What? What is the matter with you? So, bringing NuCalm to a company does what? Resolves stress for the employees, improves their satisfaction. Resolves stress for the employees, limits sick days. Resolves stress for the employees, increases their productivity. All of this is a winner. In law enforcement in America, we have a retention and recruitment problem. That's one of the reasons that law enforcement is so excited about NuCalm for their masses. So we do big one-to-many contracts with municipalities with, say, 5,000 sworn officers, recruitment, retention, and also, just the burnout phase. So David DiArcangelo and Stu and the team and I are working on an enterprise approach that'll have a volume discount based on the number of employees. And furthermore, David and I will hold hands and we will train these enterprises. And there's two ways we do it. Number one, we do an intro training. The intro training is important, but we all know that there's a steep learning curve with NuCalm. So you can only digest so much information before you really try it. But I think it's really 4 weeks to 6 weeks after you've been using it where we get on like this, and this is where the learning happens, where the experiences happen, where the growth happens, and where I can learn from other people's experiences and have my questions answered. So this is a really important piece of the puzzle for us, Bright, because think about a force multiplier. You guys are smart. I'm not going to use a pun. All right, I will. You guys are bright, right, Bright? Okay.
Here we are.
Force multiplier. If I'm bright and I have access to an employer with 1,000 employees, I like the one-to-many sale. That seems to make really good sense to me. So we are working on it, and it won't be too long that you'll hear David speak to Adam, Adam to Bright. Yes, we're ready. It's going to happen soon.
That is very exciting because obviously big volume is always a good thing when you're building a business like this. And, not everybody will go after that, but all you need is a handful who have those kind of connections and have that mindset. And you've opened up an entirely new genre of people that will participate in our business. Great job.
I think so, Adam. And humans, remember, we're pattern machines, but we're also fast followers. There's very few risk takers in the human species, but everyone's a fast follower. So as soon as you get one bank in your region, the other banks follow. Just you see it. You see patterns in all walks of life in every industry. Some of the patterns don't make sense, right? Like here in America in dentistry, some idiot dentist thought it was a good idea for someone in their office to manage the insurance policies for each patient. Nobody thought about it, and everybody followed suit. And before a year or two, the whole industry is doing it. So some of the patterns we fall into don't make sense, but we are all pattern machines. So you get a bank or two on, the other banks will follow.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Hey, Dr. Bright, I know we're coming up on the 90-minute time frame here. A lot of people had some great questions. We want to get those questions answered for you. A lot of them about children and different things, and we'll compile those questions and we'll put together a Q&A for those that we couldn't get to on this Zoom. And I just want to thank Jim for taking the time out and really spending quality time with this group who are on the move, who are spreading this around the world. You guys are doing an amazing job. If you are new, listening in for the first time, congratulations on making it this far. Get back to the person that shared the link with you. Have them give you their link to their xosialX NuCalm landing page so you can get started today. Dr. Bright, you have any words of wisdom to close us out, and anything from Jim that you'd like to leave us with? Dr. Bright, over to you.
Thank you. I'd like to say a big thank you to Jim and to David. Really, God bless you. This has been, I was out of the industry and I saw I will never get involved in network marketing. When it came to me, I was busy. I said, I have no time for this. When I looked at the product and I did my research, I knew this was the future and I knew I had to get on board this. So we are excited about this and we thank you and your team for the good work you've done. David, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and I thank all the leaders who are here. My belief has gone through the roof. I knew this was it, but today's meeting has made a huge difference for me, and I'm grateful to have had this session. Thank you.
Well, Bright, Adam, and David, thank you for everything you're doing. We appreciate it. We, as a human species, need help, and this is an incredible technology that can do nothing but good. And how can you not feel good about that? Adam will secure the Q&A